Hello pop music fans, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. My name is Allison and today we will be doing a review and analysis of Ariana Grande's brand new album, Eternal Sunshine. Now, I would label myself as a casual Ariana Grande fan. I know many of her songs, but definitely not all of them. For reference, some of my favorite albums from her are Thank You Next and Dangerous Woman. I wasn't a big fan of Positions, and I liked about half of Sweetener, but I am here today to tell you that Eternal Sunshine is my favorite Ariana Grande album, and I've actually seen that be kind of a common opinion. Many people really like this album, and so today I just wanted to dive into this album song by song, talk about what I like and why I think this is her best album yet. Eternal Sunshine is partially a concept album based around the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but it also reflects on themes of Ariana moving out of her divorce and into a new relationship that is more fit and suited for her. So she starts the album, how do you know if you're in the right relationship? She feels like she's in the wrong relationship. And by the end of the album, she has moved into a new relationship, and that old relationship is just eternal sunshine of her spotless mind. So let's go through this album track by track and talk about what I think about each song. The first track on this album is called Intro, End of the World. And I think this is the perfect sonic start to the album. It kind of summarizes the soundscape of the album in a really nice way. It also summarizes the breakdown of Ariana's relationship in her marriage with Dalton Gomez and into the new relationship that she's going to enter later on in the album. Ariana asks, "How can I tell if I'm in the right relationship?" And I say, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Ariana asks, if the world ended, would she still be the one on the mind of the person she's addressing, presumably Dalton Gomez, her former husband? I'm not here to drag him or anything. I'm just talking about the music in the context of the lyrics. I know nothing about this man, so if I mention him, it's exclusively just because I know that he was married to Ariana and she divorced him at the time this album was being made. So no shade or hate to him in the slightest, but she does ask, if the world ended, would she still be the one on his mind? And that makes me wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that with the way the world is right now, she's Ariana Grande. She's a hot, successful, rich pop star. And if the world ended and everything came down to really the basics of love and necessities in life, would she still matter to him as much? I think she began to realize that maybe he's just in love with the Ariana Grande of it all and not so much who I really am at my core. Next up on the track list is the number one bop of the album, Bye. And I am the number one supporter of the disco pop revival. If there are no fans of disco pop, I have died, because I love disco pop so much. I feel it in my body. It makes me want to dance. And so when I first heard this song, Bye, I was so hype, so excited. I'm here for any pop girly doing disco. Love it so much. It's so much fun. The production on this is perfectly produced, and the lyrics are very simple yet relatable. Everybody has had a boy bye moment at some point in their life, so anyone can just bop to this song and totally relate to it. Some of my favorite production moments on this track are the strings in the intro and throughout the song, the guitar into the chorus, the chimes going into the bridge, and the horns taking us out of the bridge. There are so many perfect chef's kiss moments on this song, and this is just overall ear ecstasy. Love this track. I also love that in her Zach Sang interview, Ariana stated that she really tried hard to make this song Bye not seem like a boy bye, you're toxic, but more like a bye, I need to move on for me and for you and for us. This just isn't working, so we're moving on. And that really comes across. You can really tell that it's a bye for me, not a bye because of you, it's a bye for me. And I really respect the mature lens that she's had while moving on from this divorce and into new relationships. The next song on the track list complements Bye in sound and in lyrics. It's kind of the other side of the retro coin. That song is Don't Want to Break Up Again. This has a retro soul feel, and I really love the lyrics of this song. It makes me sympathetic to what her marriage was like from her perspective. She felt very ignored, overlooked. She didn't feel special and important and so she had to leave for herself because she had to take that time to self-soothe and do what is needed for herself. Some of my favorite vocals and melodies are on this track, Don't Want to Break Up Again. It's just such a pretty song. And one of my favorite lines on this track is, "Hope you still think fondly of our little life." I think that says a lot about what this relationship was like, that she just wanted to have a happy little marriage, and it just didn't end up like that, and she didn't want to break up and end that marriage, that little life that she had, but it was necessary for herself and for what she needed out of her own life. The next track is called Saturn Returns Interlude, and I'd say this is very enjoyable to listen to for a spoken interlude, spoken by not even Ariana. I don't even know who the person speaking on this interlude is. I don't know if it's like a pop culture moment from some piece of media or if it's one of her family members. I don't know exactly who's speaking in this, but the track does further the album theme, not so much the Eternal Sunshine wiping the memories theme, but more the this is the time in my life when things are changing and things are moving on and I'm not living my life the way that I thought it would be. You know, I thought I would get married and things would go this way and I'd stay married forever. I didn't imagine myself getting divorced. But Saturn returns and things change. Things don't end up the way that you expected them to be before your Saturn returned. And I think that does a lot to further the album theme. And I appreciate this little interlude. It's a nice break at the very beginning of the album between that breakup and the moving on to we're broken up, I'm gonna find a new relationship that's more right for me. And the Saturn Returns interlude flows seamlessly into the title track of the album, Eternal Sunshine. Ariana says, "I've never seen someone lie like you do, so much even you start to think it's true." And that says a lot to me. That makes me wonder how much of their relationship was really real and how much of it was founded on lies. Did she get conned into believing that this guy loved her for her more than he loved what she could bring to his life and his bank? But Ariana goes on to apologize in this song. She says sorry, and I don't think she needs to apologize. I really don't think that this is something she needs to apologize for. If she was truly being lied to all this time, she really just needs to move on, wipe her mind, say this is her eternal sunshine, and move on to a boy that treats her right. The deep bass beat on this song really contrasts with the soundscape of the rest of the song, which is very light, feathery pop. And that deep bass really reminds me of like when your heart sinks into the pit of your stomach. The next song on the album, Supernatural, was definitely a grower for me. I liked it a bit on the first go, but the more I listen to it, the more I can bop to it. At first, I thought the lyric was, "This guy's obsessed with me and I don't mind at all." I think that actually makes a little bit more sense. In terms of production, I think this song's one of my lesser favorites. I don't know how I feel about the doo at the end of the bridge. Not really a fan of that. But the ad-libs at the end of the song are very needed and they come through in clutch. The next song on the album, True Story, is drama. It is drama. It is so dramatic. I love this song so much, both in lyrics and in sound. It sounds like drama. And the bass line of that song is so perfect. When I first heard it, the only word I can think of was yucky. I was like, this bass line is yucky. It is stanky. It is dirty. It is gross. This is disgusting. But in like the best way of like, oh yeah, that's so nasty, but it sounds good for the song. This song definitely represents a successful Reputation era. I love when she says, "I'll play any part you need me to, and I'll be good in it too." Also love when she says, "I'll be the one you love to hate." Can't relate. Too much on my plate. She's like, I am booked, I am busy, I am in a blockbuster movie, I got an album, I am Ariana Grande. You want to hate me? Okay, I'm rich and I'm booked and busy. The one thing I will say about the lyrics is she says, "This is a true story about all the lies you fantasize about you and I." I kind of wish it was all the lies you fantasize about him and I. I think that would make more sense, at least to me. But the vocals at the end, they just go off and they just hit perfectly. The Boy Is Mine. This is the TikTok bop of the album, and Ariana says that this is kind of her version of that leaked song Fantasize, which wasn't even written for Ariana. It just leaked a recording of her singing it for a TV show and it never got released. So she made her own version. I don't hear a ton of similarities between The Boy Is Mine and Fantasize, but you know, it's got a similar vibe. The beat in this song has so much texture to it. It just sounds really full and interesting and exciting, and there's so many sounds going through it. At first, I didn't really love the tempo change in the chorus where it slows down a little bit, but it has grown on me. One production moment that I really love is when she says, "There's gotta be a reason why," and it sounds like very like church-like. It's like very religious, like there's got to be a reason why, like a higher reason. Love that specific part. I also noted that there's a soft horn at the back of the second chorus that I love. It just sounds really good. Again, everything about this production, there's so much to it and it sounds amazing. This album has done the sort of bridge switch up that happens on this song, The Boy Is Mine, a lot. A lot of songs do that sort of switch up on the bridge in this album, but on The Boy Is Mine, I think it is executed the best. I just think it works perfectly for the song, and execution is 10 out of 10 on that bridge. The next song is Yes And, which was the lead single for this album, and when I heard this song as a single, wasn't in love with it, but I do actually like it more in the context of the album. Even though the song itself doesn't sound so much like it fits in with the album, it's definitely a standout track. I think it stands out for a reason, because it's the one song where she, you know, addresses the haters and says yes and it also kind of makes it into like a queer anthem of like, boy, put your lipstick on, you know, gives a little queer clubbing vibes. But I think it makes sense as a lead single because, you know, she's addressing the hate, and it stands out a lot as like a pop dance track. Now we get to my favorite song, the crown jewel of the album, We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love. I love this song so much. This is the song that I heard that made me want to listen to the full album. When I heard this song, I was like, oh, this is really good. It's very cinematic. Her vocals are so pretty and clean. Again, on the rest of the album, vocals are pretty clean. The Wicked training has done her so many favors. Her voice is crystal clear. But I just love how she sounds on this song, especially she just floats through the like, love. It just sounds so pretty and wonderful. Ariana has said that this song is open to interpretation. I actually personally think that there are two interpretations that she subscribes to. I think there is an interpretation of when she was writing the song, where it's kind of like the plot of the Eternal Sunshine movie, where the two people forget each other but then eventually come back together. I think the original, when she was writing it, was like, okay, we broke up, but I'll wait for you to love me again and come back to me, and then we'll be together again. But you can tell that she eventually has a change of heart and no longer wants to wait for the love of this person that she's left. She doesn't want them to come back to her anymore. She's moved on. And so in the music video, she changes the ending a little bit and has both people just move on and find a new partner and forget about each other and move on with their lives. And so that brings me into the second interpretation of the song, because she's not so much waiting for the love of her partner anymore. She moved on from him. But whose love is she waiting for? This is the second interpretation that I think she had while she was recording and releasing the song, is that she'll wait for the love of the public, the media. This song comes at a time when the media and the general public has kind of made her out to be a bad guy, a homewrecker, various bad things have been said about her, but she knows that she can wait for the public to love her again. She says, cling to your papers and pen, meaning you can write what you want about me, but I'll wait for you to love me again. She also says, know that you made me. Like, you made me a star. I don't like how you paint me, but I'm still here hanging. She's saying, I don't like what you make me out to be, but I'm still here to perform for you, to make music for you, and I'll wait for you to love me again. So I love these two interpretations. I love the song. It is so emotionally moving. It has such a balance between being a dance track and a ballad, And that's something I think only Max Martin could do, like the crying on the dance floor type feel, so perfectly balanced between being sad and being upbeat. And it doesn't sound cheesy in the slightest. It's kind of magical. Everything about the song We Can't Be Friends is so beautiful, but I do want to give a special shout out to the part of me and my truth, we sit in silence. Baby girl, it's just me and you, because I don't want to argue and I don't want to fight. I don't want to bite my tongue. I think I'd rather die. I relate so hard to that. I relate so hard to that. My favorite song by far. After that song comes I Wish I Hated You, which is lyrically one of the most mature songs on the album. The lyrics are very simple but still relatable. The song has a very dreamy sound to it. It's nearly a cappella except for a few tinkly synths and some plucked bass. I do want to give props for towards the end of the song where Ari sounds like she's nearly crying. She does still sound like her voice is very clear and pretty, so it's a really great balance between that emotionality of nearly crying, but also still having really great technique and very clear vocals that still sounds so good. Next up is Imperfect for You, and Ariana says that this is her favorite song, and I want to say I think the more of a music nerd you are, the more this is your favorite song. That's been kind of my general understanding as I've watched other people's opinions and reviews. This song sounds off musically because of how it flips between major and minor sounds. The song is overall in a major key, but it does kind of slide up to some chords that are outside of the key. The way that the notes in the chorus don't resolve causes a lot of tension to the ear, which adds to that theme. Imperfect for you. The notes don't resolve perfectly, just like how Ari and her new partner don't perfectly fit together. They're imperfect for each other. I love Ari's low notes on this song, but I do have one critique. I wish that the notes resolved at the end of the song. I wish that the last imperfect for you, instead of hanging with that tension at the end of the song, I wish it went to like imperfect for you. Or if she just changed the lyric to be, I'm perfect for you. Or, not even exactly those notes, but I wish it resolved in some way. I think that would help more people get the song. Of like, why does it sound so weird? And then at the end, oh, it makes sense now. Okay, it's imperfect for you throughout the song, but now I'm perfect for you. And it's all beautiful and makes sense. And maybe that would be a little bit cheesy or corny, but I think more people would understand the song if it ended that way in a resolved manner. And then the last song on the standard edition of the album is Ordinary Things, featuring Ariana's Nona. I love the production on this song. The intro is very cool with some like synthetic sounding horns, I think. Though the song Ordinary Things doesn't really stand out so much on the album, I do wonder if that's intentional, if it's meant to sound like sort of a sonic average of the album, if it's meant to sound like the most ordinary thing on the album and not be a track that stands out, if it's meant to blend in and put the final bow on the album. I think thematically, Ordinary Things is a great song to end the album with, and the voice note from Nona that she puts at the end of the song really ties it up in a nice bow. I love that the voice note she just recorded without her Nona knowing. It wasn't like it was being recorded for the album. She just likes to record her, and she included that little snippet. I really appreciate that. It's very authentic and real and ties up the album perfectly. We start with, how do I know if I'm in the right relationship? And we end with, if you can't kiss goodnight every night, you got to get out of there. And I love that for the album. I love that it tells the complete story of coming out of the wrong relationship and falling into the right one, as your life feels like it's completely turned upside down because of your Saturn return, and you tried to wipe your mind from the memories of that wrong relationship. Somehow at that very moment, you fall into the arms of the person that is imperfectly perfect for you. And I love that. And I love this album. This album has it all. Sonically, it has some slower songs. It has some bops. It's so well balanced, so well produced. Her vocals are impeccable. what do I need to say about this album other than I love it, and I've been listening to it on repeat for the past, I guess it's been almost 2 weeks now. So I love this album, best Ariana album. Many people agree with me on that, but I want to know what you think about this album. I am going to go into what I think about the slightly deluxe tracks, but I don't have a ton of thoughts because, they're alternate versions of songs I already talked about. I want to say Supernatural featuring Troye Sivan is my favorite of the slightly deluxe tracks. Troye blends in so well to the song. It sounds like he was just meant to be on that song, and it really works. I do like the Supernatural featuring Troye better, maybe even, and I might listen to that more often if I had to choose which version of Supernatural I want to listen to. As for Imperfect for You acoustic, can hardly tell the difference between this acoustic version and the original version on the album. I do think Ari only included an acoustic version because she likes the song so much and wanted to have an alternate version of the song so more people pay attention to it. But honestly, I can hardly tell what she changed about this song, and I don't know if an acoustic version was necessary. True Story a cappella version might have been deemed necessary by Ari and her main producer Max Martin because maybe they were thinking, okay, this bass in this song is so heavy that maybe people might be turned off by it and want a version that doesn't have that heavy bass, so they made the True Story a cappella version. Makes sense, but I'm going to listen to the one with that super yucky, stanky, dirty bass. Then for Yes and featuring Mariah Carey, I don't like this remix. It's unfortunate because it had potential to be good. I don't understand why Mariah was singing the melody over top of Ariana and not singing harmony. And then Ari does kind of own up to the fact that she requested that Mariah's volume be turned all the way up because she was just so excited that Mariah was on the song with her. And so the sound mixing sounds pretty off. I really need some harmonies. Mariah's verse is good. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about the song. It's not like a complete bomb, but it had so much potential to be better than it was. And I think Mariah's choices just weren't as good as they could have been. So yes, please let me know what you think about this album in the comments, and let me know what you think about my new style of reviewing and analyzing albums. I've previously done a lot of album reactions on this channel, and those I felt like I needed to take a step back from because they were a major hassle to edit, and I was running into some issues with, copyright and stuff like that. So I think maybe this sit-down review analysis style might be better for me and my channel. So stick around and subscribe if you want to see me talk about more albums. So leave this video a like, leave a comment with another album you think I should make a review and analysis for, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. I will definitely be doing more of these videos coming up soon. I've taken a pretty long break from doing the album reactions, and I know I wanted to take my channel in a different direction, and this is the start of the new direction for my channel. So subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.